Okay, this is a 30-second commercial, and I'm going to throw a lot of numbers at you, but please stay with me. In just 15 minutes, you could save 15% or more on car insurance. This company has been offering great rates and great service for over 75 years, and anytime you need help, you can speak to one of their trained specialists 24/7. That company is Geico. Go to geico.com today. Sorry for all the numbers, and in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm out of time.
Now, Podcast One brings you Spike's Car Radio. A downloadable Cars and Coffee, hosted by writer, comedian, and automotive enthusiast, Spike Ferriston. Now, here's Spike.
All right, Spike's Car Radio, good morning to you all. Happy Wednesday. It's nice to be with you. I'm here with Zuckerman. We have Bisimoto coming. I call him Bisimoto, but his name is Bisi, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the last name. I know Bisi. He's a hot rodder. He's the guy who made that 1,100 horsepower minivan.
He's a genius.
He's a genius, and we're gonna catch up with him, find out what's what. The last time I saw him, we was on Car Matchmaker. Then we saw him at the Zuffenhausen show.
He had a fantastic car.
Talking to the microphone.
He had a fantastic car.
Good Lord.
His lipstick on the microphone is worse than collard greens.
Really?
Yeah.
Where it's got a mic cover. Where do you see lipstick?
On the mic cover.
Really? Let me. Wow, I don't see anything.
Look closer.
Take the headphones off the microphone.
Stop telling me what to do.
And Zuckerman and I, it's what? It's Tuesday. It's Election Day. It's when we're recording. The show's posting a week later. So we've just come from an amazing weekend, an amazing driving weekend.
A fantastic weekend.
With lots of, you had 2 new cars coming in. Jerry was in town. And we also had the very first instance of the buzzer beater, which is if you want to know what the buzzer beater is, you picked up one car on a Friday, right? And we're driving cars all weekend. And then another new car from the RM 70th anniversary auction was delivered Sunday late afternoon, right before the buzzer on the weekend.
Totally unexpected, because
I
anticipated, having bought the car at auction, that it would get here in 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
And within 1 week of the auction, it was like a hot shot delivered.
But we can't recommend this enough. That everybody, if you have the means, get a new car to you delivered on a Friday, but then get a second car delivered right around 4 o'clock on a Sunday. And it was fantastic, right? There was we thought something was wrong with the keychain, and we wanted to put a new battery in it. So you and I went to my house, and then Jerry said, "Where are you guys?" And he showed up in his 912. By the way, these pictures are on all of our Instagrams. You can see them, not Jerry's, but on Paul's and mine. And we just, stood in the driveway with a new car and had such a nice time. I also had such a nice drive from your place over to my house in the GT3 Touring, following you in that lowered 993 RS. Really a magical weekend.
It helps when you get super lucky. If you're going to do this, both cars have to be really good. And that is that's the other part of of what we pulled off, was that both cars were surprisingly great cars.
The first one is the Wilhoit car, right?
Right. It's a 1983 Cabriolet. It's a 911 SC, and it was the first production Cabriolet made, the first serial number.
In Coke dealer
red
colors.
Over white.
Red over platinum or pearl or something.
Pearl white. It's stun gun white.
It's a black great top. Car. I was very skeptical. Now everybody knows I hate red. Everybody's well aware of it. I don't mind red. I kind of like red when it's got the black cab roof on it, right?
You're coming around.
Well, I like red with black wrapping around red. I like that. I like. And this car has that 80s personality, so I'm totally fine with it. But really, when I drove it, my mind was blown. I couldn't believe what Wilhoit pulled off in this car. In fact, you say it's an 83?
Yes. And
I was driving the 87 911 that you and I both owned, and this car drove better than that. It drove lighter. It was faster feeling. It blew my mind.
I think that early 80s SCs are very overlooked. I think they suffer from most of the ones that are out there suffer from deferred maintenance, because you couldn't justify spending the money to keep the car up to proper standards. I think what Wilhoit does, of course, is magical, but I think that particular year with the fuel injection system that they had in those cars, and with all that steel off of the top, it is surprisingly peppy. It's got a lot of juice.
That doesn't drive like a normal 83. It can't. It can't possibly.
We should call Will Hoyt and
This
ask
is
him.
Will Hoyt genius.
But we had the 82
Get
Targa.
him on the phone. You going to say
the 80
that? Call him right now. See if he picks up.
Remember the 82 Targa?
Now, let me tell you some rules about what you're doing right now. If he does happen to pick up, you have to ask him right away, is it okay if I put your voice on the air right now? Secondly, put him on speakerphone.
Of course.
And then don't let him prattle on. We've got a lot to do today. We've got a lot to get to.
He's a bit of a prattler, but let's see if we can pull this off.
Are you literally dialing one number at a time?
You are a very difficult human being. You are a difficult
What an
human
old
being.
man you are.
Says the man who's older than me.
What's happening?
Hey, Will Hoyt, I want you to know that we are recording Spike's Car Radio right now, so I have to ask you your permission to have you on the air, so to speak.
We have a question.
We have a question for you. And
What
what we got is this 83 SC. How much better than an original car is that thing in terms of power and responsiveness and handling?
Your car, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, does it drive like a factory 83, or is that car light years better because of what you did?
No, we did everything absolutely original on that car.
Wow. And so you're saying that that's the way these 83 911s drive?
That's the way an 83 911 drives. Yeah,
I stand corrected.
We redid the whole car.
And what is it?
We redid the engine and we redid the trans, but we did everything to OEM spec.
Wow. Well, the car is outstanding. We absolutely
I'm
love
glad.
this car. I thought you added some of your magic to it, but maybe your magic is
Well,
just making things
you know,
perfect.
There's a certain amount of kind of mojo that comes, from us, from me, like working on it. So that it's sort of
what happened there?
Thing that just
It sounds like you just moved into another dimension.
yes, maybe, yeah. No, it's exactly like a stock SC.
Wow.
I mean, it should be exactly stock.
Well, you
so.
killed it. The car is incredible.
Awesome. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. We're going to have you come into the show here, and you're going to have to tell us more about what you do, because
I'm happy to do it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to reserve a spot. Will, you're going to reserve a spot for Mr. Will Hoyt. We're going to have him come down to the studio.
Awesome.
All right, man. Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the
Alrighty.
call.
Absolutely. See you guys.
That's incredible. What he does. He's one of these genius guys. Now, think about that, Zuckerman. That car gets delivered just right and ready to go. And then, what are the odds that this car would come out of an auction house and everything works on it?
Zero.
Zero. And
Zero.
Yet, it happened.
And the same thing, mind you, with a car restored by someone as good as Will Hoyt, there's bound to be something wrong with it. So to have two cars come and perform better than any reasonable expectation, it was a Twilight Zone weekend.
Right.
I could die now and everything would
You
be
might
okay.
be you might be dying. Something might happen to you now.
Right.
Because it was too perfect.
It was
Everything
too
was
perfect.
too perfect.
Some disaster, the ground's going to open up, I'll be swallowed in a large sinkhole, the devil will pull me down and roast me
The
on
only
the
thing
spit.
we didn't do was do a podcast with Jerry, which we should have. We had 2 or 3 nights with great
He
conversations.
was particularly expansive and good mood.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. While he was performing at the Pantages Theater, I went to see the show. It was outstanding. If you haven't seen Jerry do stand-up live, and you're saying, well, come on, the guy's 64. Why would I want to go? He is the best stand-up out there. I'm not, I watched a few stand-up specials on Netflix, some of these other guys whose names I will not mention, and I thought, well, those are good. And then I saw Mr. Seinfeld perform again, and I went, nobody is doing what this guy does. It's outstanding.
He's that good.
He's getting better. He's better than he was 10 years ago. And I don't know why that is. Do you think it's the facial creams that he's using, or?
He swears that his youthful good looks are the result of Clinique for Men lotion and only Clinique.
And he's also he's down to the weight he was when we were doing the show. The guy is getting better, Zuckerman. He's putting a lot of pressure. He's 10 years older than you and I, and yet he's putting a lot of pressure on us right now. Think about that. Do you feel the pressure? I feel it.
He looked particularly good, and he was particularly energetic. What I predict, he will be pulling a George Burns or a Bob Hope kind of a life. We're at 100 years old.
Well, that's not a prediction. He's told you that.
He hasn't told me. No, I haven't
he
heard
said that. He's already reserved the place,
Really?
just like George Burns did. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Sure. He'll be there.
He'll outlive us.
You won't.
No, I won't be
Don't
there.
put me in that equation. I'm fine. Anyway, Rad Power Bikes is a consumer direct electric bike company that produces 5 unique models of electric bikes. Pretty rad. Are you into these electric bikes? I mean, I love all the electric stuff that's coming out. I have that inboard electric skateboard. Now they're making bikes. I want one. Buyers get a premium electric bike without paying the huge markups caused by dealers and third-party retailers, priced at often less than half the price of comparable bikes on the market because dealer retail markups are cut out. No one likes a middleman anyways. Get ready! Because on Cyber Monday, November 26th, Rad Power Bikes is making it even easier to get people riding with deals on all models of electric bikes. Up to $400 off per model for one-day only sale on Cyber Monday. It also includes free shipping on all electric bikes to the lower 48 states. At 750 watts of power, all 5 models have the most powerful motor an e-bike can have while maintaining a street-legal status. No license, registration, or insurance required. But please wear a helmet. Saw a guy yesterday not wearing his helmet. You can finance your bike for as low as 0% APR, just about $100 a month, and get riding. All 5 models can reach 20 miles an hour with 0 pedaling, and riders can travel between 20 and 40 miles on a single charge. So come on, get riding. Visit www.radpowerbikes.com/podcast to learn more, and don't forget to shop their Cyber Monday sale on November 26th to save big. People aren't wearing helmets on these electric bikes. I saw a guy yesterday in Santa Monica, really cool, kind of old-fashioned. Remember Guinness Book of World Records, the 2 fat guys on the mini bike?
Of course.
It was one of those looking mini, like Sears mini bikes, but a little bigger, and it was an electric bike. And, the guy decided to look cool. He decided to look cool, so he just had his cute little backpack, and he had his L.A. Dodgers hat on, and now he's riding on the street.
I have videos that I could show you of people getting run over. on
You've
their
showed
bicycles,
me.
Their bodies flung like little rag dolls.
It's awful.
Wear your helmet.
Yeah, you got it, right?
Better yet, just be in a car. I really don't like motorcycles. I don't like bikes, but that's my personal preference.
I don't want to complain. I don't want to complain about driving, but this morning I was almost hit 6 times by people on their phones. On their phones, just
Selfish, dangerous.
Yeah, I won't tell you what gender, but it was 6 for 6 of the same
Really?
gender. Yep, I won't say.
Really?
I won't say. I don't want to be that guy.
You
There's
are that
BC.
guy.
Come on in, BC. Don't waste any time, please. Bisimoto is arriving here, or as we call BC. There he is.
Hello, sir.
What a day you're having, huh?
Very interesting one indeed.
Sit down.
You look younger and younger every time.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, Benjamin Button.
Some of that elixir.
Yeah, the
Yes.
magic elixir. Okay, point that mic at your face. You don't need to wear a headphone.
Okay.
Just have to be close.
BC's assistant let him down this morning and gave him the
Yes.
wrong date, so now he's panicked
Fire.
and terrified. We've all been there. How do you pronounce your last name?
It's like Smith. It's very easy. Ezerioha.
Ezerioha.
There you go. Perfect. See?
Ezerioha.
Natural.
Wow.
It's like he's from West Africa right there with me.
How about just Bisi Ezerioha?
Ezerioha. That's a good one.
Bisi Ezerioha
There
is a
you
good
go.
one.
BC is the CEO and chief engineer of his company, Bisimoto Engineering. If you are a car matchmaker fan, I'm sure you saw me driving the 1,100 horsepower minivan, as well as the 800 horsepower 911, right? What was that?
850. No,
850,
50 is,
sorry.
that's something there. 50 more horses. Yes.
And, there's so much I want to ask you. First of all, you start off as a chemical engineer,
That is correct.
and is that because your dad did that?
Well, it's more my mom. She's a very talented chemist. And even though I had appeal growing up for everything physics and physical in nature and mechanical, it broke her heart that I had no interest in chemistry whatsoever. So, to appease her, I came up with this cool grand scheme of studying chemical engineering just to make her happy, just to make mom happy. And look where it turned out. I'm still back in automotive no matter what. But it was great. Graduated from school, had the opportunity to work in the pharmaceutical research sector for quite a while. And during the entire time I was in school and in pharma, I raced and raced and raced.
And so, but it was drag racing.
It was drag
So
racing.
what
It was
attracted
interesting.
you to drag racing?
It was what I was exposed to. My parents were very strict disciplinarians, all about academia when we were growing up in Nigeria. And really didn't allow me to participate in any sports. So when I came here, I got a job in this wonderful place. I don't know if you remember Circuit City.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, where
Sure.
service was state of the art.
Yeah.
There you go. So when I worked at Circuit City, I had the opportunity to interact with some people. One gentleman in particular, Taryn King, and he was a drag racer. And he introduced me and my CRX at the time to a local raceway in Long Beach known as Terminal Island, and that's how I started.
Wow.
And
How does-
Fast and Furious on
yeah, it was
Terminal.
really interesting.
How does one get started in drag racing? So you know you want to do it, then what?
Well,
I mean, where do you
it's-
buy a
it's-
dragster?
It's even more interesting than
you,
that.
You build them, right?
I had this, I had a CRX that put me through school, and one day, it was just a bone stock factory 88 CRX, an HF base model, and one day when I got up to go to class, I had this deep emanating from the back of the car. I didn't know what it was, but I liked the sound. But I came to find out I had a perforated muffler,
Yeah.
and went to the dealer. It was really expensive for a student to pay
Yeah.
for one. So I went to a local muffler shop in Gardena out here in the South Bay, and they put a Dynamax Ultraflow on it. And I loved the sound of it, and I felt a little bit more power. When I kept my foot out of it, it was actually improved gas mileage, and I said, hey, this is really intriguing. Well, fast forward to me going to work at Circuit City. A gentleman in the rear at the car stereo installation department had this pretty fast Mazda 626 turbo,
Right.
and knew about this African guy up front who had a CRX with a nice muffler on it, and said, hey, you should come drag race with me. And I said, let's do it. He said, could we do it for some money? I said, sure, $100. I was so confident. And he said, maybe not, because you're a little too confident. Well, we go to drag strip that evening, and he ran like a 14.2 to my 16.4. Do you know how that looks? It's really
Yes.
bad.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
Right.
20% slower.
Yeah,
People are
it was-
sleepy by the time you get there.
He was turning back on the return road, and I was still on the track going. So that's how bad it was. But I was intoxicated. Just the fact, the adrenaline, the rush. Even though I lost, I was very intrigued on what I could do to my car to make it faster.
Right.
And
Now,
that began my journey.
What drag
with that.
track is this?
It was the Terminal Island Raceway in Long Beach. It's
Long
long
Beach.
closed.
And anybody...
What year was this, BC?
Wow, if I think back, I say it's either 94 or 95.
Wow. And
The
you could
melting
just show
pot
up.
of
You could
Circus
just
City.
show up
You
and
could,
pay
you
how
could.
much money to race?
It was like $10 to get in,
$10.
and
Wow,
you
that
do
would
a
be
quick
great.
tech inspection where you make sure your seatbelts are there, and you don't have any loose battery trays, and you have all 4 tires, and
Yeah, that
you're
was
good
it.
to go. That was it.
So
There
then
go.
you think at that point now, that seems like that's your seminal moment. Is now
it
you
was.
build to win
Yes.
on that drag.
This is his
track.
taproot car.
This is his taproot
The
race,
Taproot.
really.
Do you
It's
still
his
have
car,
that
but-
Honda?
No, I don't. Unfortunately, I parted with her about 4 years ago.
Do you wish you had it?
I do, because I gave it to my electrician. He was just connecting dust in my garage at home, and I felt that she needed to be back on the track. And my electrician promised me 4 years ago he'd do it, and he hasn't put on the track ever since.
Get it back.
I should.
Yeah.
I really should.
Wow.
I should.
So what comes next then?
Yeah, tell us.
Well, it's how much time do we have?
You as much as you need, but not much.
Okay, I was any but not much. Well, what's interesting is
Well,
I began-
I just find that now I kind of understand why you're putting so much horsepower in cars. I don't know why a car matchmaker, I never connected the drag racing.
Understood.
I just thought these are just monster cars with a lot of horsepower. But now I see what you're doing.
It's my thing. I really
Yeah.
I love going fast in a straight line, and I've just begun recently to learn how to turn on cars. It's really interesting, and that's quite intoxicating.
Now, where do you race now?
Wow, everywhere. So I've given drag racing a little bit of a break. I do it once in a while. I'm actually going to do a little bit more of that next year. But nowadays, all the local tracks, from Fontana to Button Willow to Willow Springs, streets, I'm there. I do quite a bit of road
And
racing
learning
now.
how to turn.
And I learn how to turn. And it's great because there's something very interesting about drag racing. We spend so much money, more and more money, to spend less time on the track. Well, road racing, on the other hand, now that's a lot of fun. That's
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
yeah.
But I always yearn for that adrenaline rush. So you notice on all of my road race cars, I have this push to pass button. So if any of the drivers of my cars, and if you drive a Spike, I think you have a blast, especially with my center seat Porsches I've been putting together recently. There's this nice button for your left thumb that if you feel very comfortable with the car on a straightaway, you just give it a whirl, and it can give you anywhere from 100 to 170 horsepower.
Hyperspeed, huh?
Yes, there you
I
go.
like that. And how long does that last for?
It's indefinite. It's not a curve system, so it doesn't have to regenerate. I use a digital control of a boost control solenoid to allow you to increase boost. So it's on turbocharged applications.
You must have an incredible imagination and creativity.
I have a great team that can really help me bring these mad ideas to light. which is really good.
How many ideas? Have you run out of ideas? Are you
No,
even close?
it never happens. That's the beautiful thing about technology. There's always something new and exciting to do. Next to my bed, I have a book, a journal, and sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and jot things down. I just love creating.
I know what we could do. I immediately thought of one thing we could do, Zuckerman. You
What's
know how
that?
you and I were talking about first-year Boxsters?
Right?
That's what I would do. I would take a first-year Boxster and make it competitive. Give it a lot more speed.
Would you be shocked if I have that already?
You have that.
Really?
Yes, I
Really?
have 2 of them. I'm working on a third as we speak.
And
Spike,
what-
we need to spend a little more time together.
What kind of horsepower?
I have everything from 450 to 600.
Oh, that's about right.
Yeah.
That should be right. And what are you doing to the suspension? Like when you're talking about now you're on racetracks with
Yes.
turns, what are
Yes.
you learning and what are you putting into these cars?
That's a great question. I mean, coming from the drag race scene, things are quite different. And I'm not the one who feels that I know everything. I elected the guidance of many key racers who've had a lot of experience on and off the track. And my suspension KW is my choice. V3 is what I use on all the race cars, and particularly the Boxster in particular. I've put seasoned racers in the cars. I've put everyone from record-breaking racers to the head of global design for FCA in the Boxster, or Boxman, I call it. It's like a Boxster with a Cayman roof, so it's my Boxman. And they give me feedback, and I take feedback constructively, criticism very constructively. So I've had opportunities to improve and improve and improve. And the cars are just absolutely fantastic. To sit in the middle of a car, to sit in the middle of a Boxster that's already mid-engine,
Right.
and has 500 horses is really a different experience.
Wait,
would I
you're
be-
moving the seat?
Oh, yeah.
Middle.
So you're
the
putting
middle.
that in the middle seat?
In the middle.
So
Seats
would
in
I
the
be
middle.
correct in saying that is McLaren your idol? Is that where I should take that middle seat concept?
I would love to join you and say that was the case, but put it this way. Porsche invited us to Fontana a few years back to test the Cayman R, and I fell in love with it. I love the Cayman R. It's so balanced. It didn't have the power of a 911, but it felt really, really balanced. And I thought to myself, how could I take this a step further? So I bought a Cayman S 987, twin turbocharged it, got it to about 481 horsepower. It felt great, but I still felt something was missing in terms of balance. So we came up with a concept as a team to put this seat in the middle. I didn't even pay attention to McLaren at all.
Really?
At all. I just wanted to take something that was very Porsche and take it this step a little bit further. And it worked. The car, it feels amazing. It takes you a few minutes to get used to sitting in the middle.
Yeah.
But it is so balanced. It is just like how every car should be this way.
You know what
Where's your
Jerry? You know what
shift?
Jerry says about sitting in the middle. If I wanted to sit in the middle, I'd fly coach to Cincinnati. Hey there, do you feel like you're spinning your wheels, stuck in the mud of debt with an open diff? Do you feel like you have no financial traction? There's no way out, and the bills keep piling up. I know Zuckerman feels that way. Are you not getting anywhere with those minimal payments? Don't let banks keep your wheels spinning. Lock yourself up with total financial freedom and get yourself free credit cards, signature loans, department store cards, medical bills, internet loans, and even timeshares. Total financial freedom can help you get debt-free in months rather than decades. You can get out of debt saving money each month and pay back a fraction of what you owe. Call 866-218-0588 today for free information. For over 10 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands. They're A-rated by the Better Business Bureau with 0 complaints. These people are car people like us, and they're squeaky clean. Honestly, if I had debt, I'd use them too. But I don't have debt.
And then you could free up your money for Bisimoto.
There you
That's
go.
right. Their website is www.tfusa.com. That's T as in turbo, F as in fuel, and F as in fuelusa.com. Get out of the end of the cycle and call them today, 866-218-0588. That's 866-218-0588. There you go. Center seats. What about that new center seat McLaren that we all saw?
Well, that's what
that has
the
that
F1.
flexible carbon fiber ailerons on the back. What do you think of that,
I
BC?
think
You're
it's
an
so
engineer.
smashing. That's fantastic.
It's cool, but the big
Yes, it is.
question is, carbon fiber fatigue, right?
Well,
How are they getting away with that?
there's a lot to do, not only with resins, but how the fibers interact. I mean, it's amazing what you can do with carbon fiber. So all structures are not the same. How the weave comes together plays a huge role in the integrity of the carbon fiber, matrix. And I'm sure that the engineers did their homework there.
Could you write that down for me so I can sound like you?
Well,
It's the weave that has to do with the
A
integrity.
little bit of what I read was about thickness, that they have calculated the perfect thinness, actually, so that and carbon fiber doesn't fatigue. So there are carbon fiber springs, and those are obviously springing up and down, and there is still... The fact that it could made me a little nervous. And I'll tell you something else. They also, somebody had posted a video review of it, and getting into the car it look difficult. So
Interesting.
one thing you have to do, they have this beautiful leather on either side of the seat, but you have to step on it. I immediately thought of you, Zuckerman. And then they also took, if you imagine it, there's a sports seat. They made the treads on the left and right side of the back kind of point in toward the center of the seat so that you can slide
Very
into
clever.
the car
Very clever.
without hurting yourself.
That's very
clever.
That's very clever.
But all the controls are up above your head. So imagine your hands on the steering wheel. You're looking up, and then you're putting yourself in a drive by pointing up to where your little rear view mirror is.
That may
Right?
take a little getting used to.
It's a little odd. Also, opening and closing the windows. You go up.
Understood.
Yeah, you go up.
Understood.
So I'm not so sure. I mean, I know you're going to get a lot of attention in the car, and I think it's beautiful and different. And I know
They're going to sell every one.
How much are the car? What do they cost?
Okay, an F1 was $1 million back in the day. They're trading at $15 million now. They're going to sell every car. It doesn't matter what they cost. It's got to be seven figures, but it doesn't matter what it costs. They're going to sell them.
This is the car they called. I got excited because they called me about it, and they said, "No, we don't want to offer it to you. We're looking for somebody else's phone number." And it was not me. It was Michael Strahan. I said, "Well, okay. What about me?" And they said, "Not you."
No soup for you.
No, but I don't think any of us knew. All we knew about the car at that point is it was going to be a center seat car. I think it's super cool, and it's one of those things you just get excited with. There's a lot of engineering coolness in this thing, and the only thing I don't like is that little step, onto the beautiful leather.
I'm more excited by this guy because he's accessible.
Oh, you're too
and
right.
I'm talking about BC, and I want to know where's your current shop and how many people are in there?
Yes, we are in Ontario, California. I refer to it as the center of the universe. Not quite, but I get to make a lot of noise without getting in trouble. And we have a team of seven.
There you
Some
go.
very talented, efficient people. And,
Your cars don't cost this amount of money. No. I know, Zuckerman, you want to talk about that. I want to finish talking about McLaren. $2.3 million for this car.
pretty
They're going to make 106 examples.
Really?
Why 106? What is that all about?
There must be a reference to something that Bruce McLaren did back in the
Top
day.
speed? Anybody?
225.
I say
BC?
230.
250.
Wow, very nice.
0 to 60. 0 to 186 is 12.8 seconds.
There's your how many quarter miles will that be? Right?
And you've got two people can sit behind you.
That's clever.
Right.
Shitting
okay.
themselves
Now-
all the time.
Right. For $2.3 million, BC, what could we get from you? That's a lot of money, right? Your cars don't even come close to
No,
this.
my cars are not. My cars are probably.
And how many
fraction of that.
cars are you guys making a year?
Well, it depends. Every year is different. So with our affiliations with a lot of OEM manufacturers, we
Right.
go anywhere from 6 to 8 vehicles a year, just on the OEM side. For the privateer side, we get a lot of privateers that come in who want standard modifications and so on and so forth.
So wait. These OEM cars, what are those?
So the van you drove was one of them. So we're lucky enough to build cars for manufacturers, OEM manufacturers.
So they come to
us
you.
and they say, hey, we would like to put a request for a proposal on how we can make this beautiful Corolla a little more exciting.
Right.
And it's our job of our team to come up with a proposal that can make a Corolla really
So
exciting.
take us
That's what
through that minivan story. How did that work?
Now, that was really interesting. In 2013, Honda didn't really have a new car for their arsenal that year. So the only thing that was new was the new Odyssey. And I just started a young family. My daughter was just born. I love going fast, as you can imagine, Spike. And
Yes.
I didn't want to give up speed for the comfort of being able to haul a family around. So what a better concept of combining the
Yes.
two, of making a van that's very powerful and manual and exciting and not shameful to drive around.
And this thing went viral
Yes.
everywhere.
My most popular car up until last week.
That's it doing a front tire burnout. Look at this sucker.
That is magical.
Thank you. However, the front-wheel drive, it does have an inherent disadvantage. Physics works against us when you launch the car. So
You know what I remember about
Yeah.
it when you hopped into it? They
Yes.
said we have to turn the horsepower down, and it still drove like this. I'm like, well, why? They go, because you can't handle 11. I can't. Well, what are you dialing it down to? 800. I go, 800.
That's it.
And then you just get on it, and it was so great. It was so much fun to drive that.
Thank you.
So,
There-
what did you do to overcome the inherent problems with front-wheel drive?
It's a challenge. On my drag car, because I now have a purpose-built Honda Insight Hybrid as a drag car, which broke tons of records, by the way, in our scene that some of them still hold to today. I have the opportunity to put a wheelie bar on those. Now, on the street car, I didn't. And the wheelie bar is not prevented from wheeling, but prevented from the wheels lifting upwards and having the weight transfer easily as nature would want it to.
Right.
With front-wheel drive, it's very difficult. Believe it or not, despite the power and the heft of that car, she's not very, very fast from a start because of the front-wheel drive disadvantage. And I just mentioned a moment ago that was my most popular car up until a week ago. Because when we were in SEMA last week, I launched a newer version of that is a little more exciting.
Another minivan?
Not quite. It's more like a Wago van.
Ah.
Yes.
Did anybody order one of these minivans? Did they come in
Very
and go,
interesting.
I want
got
that?
a ton of inquiries, but when it came to sending a check, people tend to shy away. I thought maybe I should have built a Mercedes or something or a Porsche, and then maybe would have been that. But
Yeah, it's
we
tough.
got a ton of inquiries from all around the globe, and okay, and the price point. I think I put it at like I could replicate that for like 110 or so. It wasn't so bad.
Really?
It wasn't so bad at all.
Wow.
The engineering alone that we did, Honda already covered it. We took care of that. So replicating it was a challenge, but
Not to mention all the free advertising you generated
exactly.
for
It was
them.
very good.
That's
It was very
millions
good.
of
It was
dollars.
very good.
Yeah. Wow.
Rumor has it that when that car was launched, that Honda experienced the highest Odyssey sales in that quarter ever.
Really?
Yeah, which is pretty exciting. So
Wow.
those tactics work.
Okay, so you were just at SEMA.
I was just a SEMA.
All right.
And
It's not really our scene. I've been there a few times, but every time I go there, it's lots of guys with sleeveless shirts and tattoos
it's
and
still like that.
drinking beer. And we got, hey, Richard Rollins is out there. Hey,
He
son,
was there too.
take a picture with him, please. And hand me a camera. Okay, I'll take your picture. What did you bring there? What did you do?
I brought another center seat Porsche for the Momo's booth. We did a collaboration between Momo Italy and Hot Wheels.
Oh, wow.
Which is one of the good accounts we have as well. But I launched my revenge car. Revenge in the sense that this van is 5,000 pounds, 1,000 horsepower, and front-wheel drive. So I launched something that was much lighter, similar power potential, but all-wheel drive.
Mm-hmm.
So I showcased a 1991 Honda Civic wagon
Awesome.
with a K24 Z7 fully built. It's like a Civic late model 9th gen Civic Si engine with a large 72mm turbocharger, all-wheel drive, flex fuel, sequential gearbox.
Is this it? Is this the guy?
Actually, no. It is. Let's see. I have so many photos here. That's pretty interesting. So I don't know if you could see.
Show us a picture.
That. Oh, sorry. That.
Oh, that's lovely. What blue metallic color is
That
that? That's
is
lovely.
the Marina Blue from a BMW. Late model
Oh,
M3.
yeah. Look at that sucker, man.
That is unbelievable. And what will this car do for you?
Oh my goodness. So
700 horsepower.
it's going to be. That was the original one. This one is going to be 1,000 when we're done. And it'll have
Bugatti.
all-wheel drive. I
Good
pretty much
Lord.
salvaged components from 2 different CRVs and embedded it into this smaller, lightweight Civic. And it's going to be and sequential gearbox. I'm using a Quave gearbox from the UK. It's absolutely spectacular.
Okay, can you drive the thing to the mall?
Yes, you could. And it'll be very no one will even suspect what's going on. Oh, there she is.
There it is.
There she is.
Right. But you're going to put a hood on it, right?
Oh,
Or
yeah, I
no?
just did that because I like to
Leave the engine
showcase
out.
all the pretty parts.
Okay, how many rattles
Wow.
are there? How the car like this has to rattle. Shit has to fall off of it.
No. I do things properly. Spike's driven a couple of my
Yeah,
cars.
that's
I'm
right.
very
1,000
proper.
horsepower.
It's great. And guess what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Oh, if it makes you any even more comfortable, I have a boost per gear protocol. So in lower gears, it's not as violent. But as you go up in gears,
Do you watch Game of Thrones? Do you see the scenes where they're riding on dragons?
Right.
That's kind of what it's like, except you're controlling the dragon, and it's really fun.
And you can carry passengers with you.
Yeah, but it takes a great amount of control to not hit that throttle all the time and
course.
have fun. That's what it's all about. Have you ever thought about making? I guess that's the minivan, the sleeper. That would be the 1,100 horsepower
Almost every car,
sleeper,
including
right?
that one. These are cars that when you look at them, the only thing that gives away is a small peak in the front end with the intercooler hanging out. But apart from that, you wouldn't know. I just love cars that are understated, that you don't know what's lurking beneath. I love it.
So now, where does this car go that you built? Whose car is that now?
So it's ours.
yours.
It's a collaboration between K&N, AEM, and American Honda, and it's something that would showcase some of the classic beauty of a boxy, old school '90s vehicle, with the modern technology of today's engineering.
It makes me think about you taking either a Volvo or a Benz wagon.
Volvo's next.
Really?
As a matter of fact, let me. Volvo's not too far from now. I'm building a 190 for next year.
Wow.
A 190E. That's going to be really interesting.
They're my favorite manufacturer. I just love them.
Mercedes, very nice.
No, Volvo.
Oh, Volvo. Volvo would be a little bit.
I mean, next to Porsche.
Yeah.
Next to Porsche.
Right.
I just like everything there about it. I like all their safety. But you know what? People are finding a lot of weird things in their cars. Have you guys heard about this? I'm not talking about your garden variety petrified French fries or melted crayons, BC. I'm talking about live snakes, bizarre trinkets, the kind of stuff that just makes you wonder about, folks. Another thing that makes you wonder, but in a good way, are continental belts. Bet you didn't know they're OE in tens of millions of Chrysler, Dodge, Ford, and GM vehicles that roll off the assembly line. They're also OE on the majority of BMWs and VWs. Now, Continental is launching the aftermarket multi-V belt with the OE pedigree. It's their OE technology series, belts that are fanatically engineered for the perfect fit, form, and function. And Continental has OE technology series multi-V belt for 98% of the cars on the road, even BC's cars in the U.S. and Canada. Hey, you get enough surprises working on cars and trucks, a belt shouldn't be one of them. Go with the Continental OE Technology Series Multi-V Belt, the belt with the OE pedigree. To get the full story, visit oetechnologyseries.com. Wow.
You are good at that.
Very good.
Thank you. Thank you. I have. I can edit, though, if I mess up, so there's really no pressure
You
on
don't
it. But I
stumble over your tongue.
do. I
haven't heard it.
Well, that guy behind the glass there, he'll tell you that I do all the time.
Should we take one
I have been on television, though, before. Zuckerman.
You were?
This is my business, yes.
I didn't know that. What about J.G. Francis? Should we take one of his cars, like a diesel?
J.G. Francis from Mercedes Motoring.
Right.
I know everything you're saying right now.
I know.
Is going to terrify him.
That's
That you
I know.
even
I just
suggested that means we won't be able to buy a
need
car
pills.
from him in any way. No, I think what we have to bring BC is something completely different. He's already hit the Boxster thing, so let's forget about that. I think we have to bring him something and make it crazy. But it should be something.
I'm thinking that old Saab wagon I had.
Ooh,
That would have been great.
That was an early
that would have been a lot of
60s
work.
Saab
oh
wagon.
my goodness. You don't have any Peugeots, do you?
No, but that's a good idea.
Citroen.
The Citroen.
No, but the Saab that had the seat sitting on top of the gas tank. Remember?
Yeah,
That was
I
just
love
the
that.
most unholy, unsafe deal. Jerry was just talking about Corvairs. What about a Corvair? Lighting up a Corvair.
Could you do that, PC?
Of course.
And then
I'm
you've
not
got-
afraid of the unknown.
What about do you
Oh, my
work on
goodness.
American cars at all?
Yes. So we built cars for Ford. So you may not know this, but we had a 901 horsepower Mustang 4-cylinder EcoBoost.
Yeah.
Did that. It was one of my favorite
did you
cars
do
because
that?
it was really laggy.
How do you eke out 900 horsepower?
It was a big turbo. 76. It was huge, larger than the valve cover. It was
It's in the
huge.
passenger seat.
Yeah,
just sat
but
there.
it wasn't a fun driver.
Put a
it was
hat on it.
Really laggy. I didn't like it very much, but we did it. It was a good proof of concept. So
Wow.
I've done that.
But a Corvair with the
Corvair
engine
would
in
be
the
really cool.
rear,
That'd be
over the
cool.
rear wheels.
That'd be cool.
That would be good. What other little American cars do you and I like? I like Chevy Novas. I've always had a soft spot for the old Chevy
I like
Novas.
Novas, but he'd be great with a Pinto,
Ooh.
a Vega.
Do you know,
Gremlin?
how about this? Oh, wait, I've got an idea. What about a Ford Granada? What
That
if
would be
we-
awesome.
What if we really blitzed out a Ford Granada? Silver with some red crushed velvet interior.
Chrysler Cordoba,
Yeah, made
Corinthian
it-
leather.
And just made it crazy.
Yes, let's do this.
I'm down. I'm down.
Could we make sure on the outside it still looked like a
Of
Ford
course.
Granada?
That's very important to me.
That would be great. We'll call it the Fatsmobile. That's the car my dad drove. He drove that, and he had an 80s Buick Skylark that was tan and tan. Beige.
And the license plate will read Hummingbird.
Hummingbird. You know why it's Hummingbird? My dad's dead. He died in 2009, and my mom believes that he's reincarnated as a hummingbird.
Oh, my.
Now, if you knew my dad, who gambled a lot and smoked and drank,
And was overweight.
wonderful guy, he's not a hummingbird. No, he may be a seagull if we had to give him wings. I don't even think he would fly, but I think he's more of a dumpster possum would be my.
Oh, my.
And I say that I love my dad, but still, he was a dumpster possum.
Nothing hummingbird about it.
Nothing hummingbird about Dad. Yeah, and she said that in front of the kids when they were at the house and they saw a hummingbird, and my two boys looked at me and went, "What? Like what? What part of the world? You didn't tell me that people die and turn into birds?" And then I had to pull them aside and go, "Your grandma's crazy. Just let her believe what she wants to believe." But
I saw a hummingbird this morning. The first thing I thought about was your
Was
dad.
fat?
Yes.
Well, what the fuck do I know? Maybe he is. Maybe
Came to
maybe
visit.
Maybe a fly.
Slug.
A slug.
Well, I saw something very interesting at SEMA, the same SEMA.
Yeah, tell us
last
more
year.
about SEMA. What else are you reporting?
I saw a backdated classic 911 with Tesla drivetrain. What do you guys think of that?
I don't know.
With a Tesla drivetrain?
Yes.
An electric car?
Yes, it was converted to one using Tesla hardware.
I like
That's
dinosaur
weird.
juice.
That is going to happen on its own. I don't think there's anything we have to do ourselves to get there. I think there's going to be a plug-in hybrid 911 before long.
What do you think about that?
There's also Panameras and
My fans tend to boo me when I talk about this, but I'm a bit of a fan of the EV motors.
Really?
Yeah, I am.
Instant-
Primarily because, the torque at 1 RPM, that's instant torque at 1 RPM, full torque efficiency. I love that. The
who's
fact that-
who's making the best electric motors?
there's a company called Charge that's a combined subdivision of RoboRace. They're a big entity in the UK that they're building these autonomous electric road race cars. They have some really forward-thinking technology with that right now that is trickling down to the masses, trickling down to what you may see commercially. And I'm going to go visit them next year, take a look at the facility and see what they're about.
Mm-hmm.
But I love to go fast.
You just
Sound
said
is
something
great.
weird.
What did I say?
Autonomous.
Yes.
What is an autonomous road race car? Will this be slot cars for big slot cars?
They raced Goodwood.
But they're not. No one's in it.
No one's in it. No one's in it.
They race
The blood
against each
course?
other.
Well, one single one just did it. But yes,
Right.
for the Formula E, they race against
So
each
in
other.
theory, we're going to have life-size video games.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Spike and I can put our race cars on the track,
yes.
and we can.
We don't have to be in them.
We
don't
can
have to be
be
in
in.
That's fantastic.
We can be eating M&Ms
Yeah,
while
you
we're
could.
doing this.
Yeah, hot dogs, M&Ms.
What about an autonomous husband? Have they made that yet?
The wife one may be pretty nice.
We can just have her there. No, the robot brothels don't seem to be working. The towns keep closing the robot brothels. What is that? Why, Zuckerman? Why would you close a robot brothel? Have you read this?
I have
Every
not.
time they pop up around the world, they close the robot brothel.
Why?
I don't know.
How could that be against the law?
I don't know that it's against the law. They just close it.
People aren't going. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
they are. That's the sad part. The sad group of guys are showing up for this, but then they say, we're not going to have this in our hometown. But I don't get it. Like, what? Don't you prefer that to real prostitution? Wouldn't you just go, these stupid idiot guys are going to have sex with a doll, and well, let's just let that happen.
Can we open one?
Oh, God.
Come on, Ferriston. why are you shy away from this?
Maybe you could
You brought
business.
it up.
It's horrible.
You brought it up.
I was just trying. Usually, you're a very good professor of humanity, and you would be able to explain to me legally why this would be.
It's not a legal promise that people are uncomfortable with the notion of anybody having a good time outside of the privacy of their home, and the notion of them doing it with robots. But from I could see from a liability standpoint people getting hurt with the robots, and I'd make a lot of money.
The robot? It's not a robot. It's really a doll.
It's doll parts. Doll parts could hurt real parts.
Can you get sexually transmitted diseases from a doll?
if it's not clean?
Yeah.
If the last user didn't clean
Well,
it
now
out.
that brings me to the employees of the sex doll brothel.
Oh, my.
Do you think they're hiring top quality employees?
Do you think so? Do you think that people in second grade, somebody put their hand up and say, I want to work at the robot brothel? No, you have to fail your way into that job. A succession of major failures to be cleaning the robot out.
I think that is a pretty good resume line. If you move up to that, if it said worked in a robot sex brothel, I would go, that is really cool. That's really interesting. But maybe not the maid, maybe not the disinfectant guy.
Would you really even want to be at the front desk checking people in? And
Would
see-
I?
Yes.
Absolutely. At least for a day.
For one?
Just
Okay.
to talk
For-
to these idiots and go,
Do you
"Wow,
think that they're really going to
what
be
are you doing?"
talkative? Do you think they're going to be talkative any more than you were talkative at 7-Eleven at 13 buying your first Playboy? Did you want to talk to the clerk?
I
when
bet
you did
these
the-
guys want to talk.
They don't want to talk.
They want to meet
They're
others
shameful.
like him.
They are shamed and
No,
shameful.
I think it's a group of guys who are looking for other guys like them and going, we got this club. And eventually they would hang out
Bisi and I are
I
looking
can
at
agree
each
with
other.
him.
Bisi and I are looking. This is something you sneak in the back of the robot door. You don't want anyone
Collar
to know.
popped, hat on.
Right. Yeah.
Glasses.
It says vacuum repairs on
Right.
the outside.
Do you think Redstone
As a sex diaper.
Do you think he would be interested in a
Of
sex
course.
doll?
Of course.
Do you think
Why?
he would know the difference at this
At this point? No.
Yeah.
No.
Sumner Redstone in his sex diaper and a sex
You know,
doll?
you know who Sumner Redstone is?
No, I do not.
He's one of the horny old goats in their 90s that's still getting it on.
Oh my.
Running Viacom.
Good
Actually, I
man.
don't think he is anymore. I think he's
His daughter.
He's gone over
His
the
daughter
edge.
finally
but-
said, Dad, you concentrate on octogenarian sex, and I'll run the company.
I thought I read in Rolling Stone or somewhere that now it's down to they reenact scenes in front of him, and he doesn't even know what's happening.
Oh my.
That a hooker shows up, and they reenact scenes for him in front of him, and somebody whispers in his ear, "They're having sex now."
It sounds like he's having the best twilight that you could possibly have.
That I
They're
thought I
catering
read.
to- they're
That might
catering-
just be a rumor, but I thought I read that in the Rolling Stone.
You know what?
Or
More
somewhere.
power to him. More power to him.
I mean, if you're going to be a billionaire, you might as well spend your money and enjoy it,
And
right?
if you're going to be a perv, if you can carry on till you're in your 90s, why not?
So, do you think you'll do this, Zuckerman?
Me?
Yeah. Is that how you would spend your elder years?
I thought you always accused me of being senile and handing out tips on the sidewalk because I like to give tips. You said I'm going to have $5 bills and I'm just going to hand them out.
What does that mean? You're just going to hand out money?
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what
remember.
you said. Here's 5 for you, and here's 5 for you.
I
Here
said
you go,
that?
kid. Yes, that was your.
You just dodged my question, though.
That's what I was trying to do. Do I think I'm going to be that way? I'm probably not going to make it that long.
Really?
You just said that at the beginning of the show
Well,
when we were
who
talking
can
about your
predict these
pimply
things?
heart.
who can predict these things?
Yes.
We always go off on these tangents.
I
BC.
see.
Don't
It's
worry
good though.
about
It's
it.
very entertaining. Very
Yes.
I'm on your site right now, bisimoto.com, and I'm looking at the stuff you build here. It's spectacular.
Thank
So,
you, sir.
what is the ideal customer for you? Where's the money made? You're
I would
speaking to a lot of Porsche guys right
Yes.
now.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we all love horsepower.
Yes, you do.
And I think
Well,
we're
some of
all
you.
a
Some get
li-
afraid.
So we're all getting a little tired. We're living in the age of the outlaw. We're living in the age of I want something different than the other guy. So what does the Porsche family come to you for?
And exactly that. I get the client who doesn't want to buy something or have something, a modified or factory car, and walk outside and see a 17-year-old kid driving the exact same thing.
Right.
So we get the guys who want something bespoke, something unique. I'm big on reliability, big on power. It's a weird thing. Recently, a lot of my customers say, "Hey, I want 700, but could you tune it down to 4? Because I just want to say I have it. I just want to have it.
Really?
I want a button or a knob to let me have it when I want to, but it's a little bit too much." I've had people come back and say, "BC, this is kind of scary. Could you dial it back for me?" I've had
That's
that,
hilarious.
which is interesting. But I get the guys who want something bespoke.
Right. And
they-
which 911?
Oh, the 996 Turbo has been coming
Really?
very, very popular.
Yeah.
They're fairly cost effective nowadays, and the factory gearbox can take some damage.
Really?
Yeah, without problem. So we're getting a lot of 996 turbos, 997s. The 991 guys they tend to do mostly exhaust systems
Right,
and slight
right.
upgrades, but nothing crazy. But 996, 997 turbo guys,
Yeah, they get a
They're-
nice
they're-
deal
which
on the car,
they
and
do.
then you make it incredible.
Which one
right?
do you prefer to work on?
I like the 997. It's really, it's more refined
Mm-hmm.
than 996. 996s are cool, but it's just something not as modern, something old but not old enough about it that I don't
Right.
like,
Wow.
Right. It's neither fish nor fowl kind of a car.
Yes, I like
I
that.
drove behind a 996 GT3 this weekend, coming
yeah,
back
I
up
saw
from the
that.
PCH,
Yeah.
and that car was great.
What color was it?
Silver car.
Oh,
It was
beautiful.
customized. It was not from. It was from Virginia. I thought it
Yes.
came from some other part of the country, but it
It's a
just
tax
just
dodge.
the exterior of the car. I used to have one of them. I love the way that car looks. I think that's probably the best buy right now for 911s.
It is.
Wouldn't you say the 996s? And what a great because it had some issues with the engine, right?
Well, primarily the M96, the base Carrera.
Right.
Turbos are good.
But we
they're
can
not
come
good
to
for it.
you.
Yes.
And we can take care of that and
Absolutely.
make it into a monster.
Yes, we can.
Yeah,
I like
and-
those engines. Just you have to address a lot of shortcomings.
That's also another idea.
Okay, so
Zuckerman.
if I came to you
Yes.
with a 996 and
Yes.
I said 700 horsepower, but it has to handle,
Yes.
has to be drivable,
Right.
it has to be tractable.
I said.
How much money, how much time?
Are we talking about base Carrera or are we talking about a turbo version?
What do you want? What?
Well, I prefer a turbo because the gearbox is pretty robust.
Right.
The M96 engine and the gearbox combination in the base Carrera is not very strong.
Okay,
start
so we
breaking
give you
things
a
very
turbo.
quickly. Yeah,
And how much time is it going to take? How much is it going to cost?
He's going to do it right away for us.
I can do it right away for you. I'll be honest with you, it may take 2, maybe 3 months.
That's it.
And
You're not talking a year, 2
no,
years.
of course, it's me. Of course not.
We're used to
Very-
people.
very
We're used to
efficient team.
people saying 6 months, and that means 2 years.
Oh no, we're a cut of a different cloth. How's that?
I like that.
Yes, I mean
And confident.
40 to 50 grand, not too bad.
If you're looking to buy a car like a 996, Zuckerman, you're probably familiar with terms like MSRP. You might even know what it stands for. But what does it actually mean? The same goes for invoice, list price, and dealer price. It's enough to confuse anybody. All you're really looking for is a price that actually means something. Introducing True Car Price from True Car. True Price from True Car. This is where we're going to find this 996. Now you can know exactly what you're going to pay for the 996 you want, including fees and accessories before you even get to the dealership. True Car dealers will show you the true price on cars like the one you want, all from the comfort of your home. And how do you know if your true price is a great price? Because True Car shows you what other people paid for the same car you want, and your certified dealers know this, so they set their true price competitively so they can win your business. So when you're ready to buy a new or used car or 996 and send it to BC, visit True Car to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all states. I'm not telling you which features or which states. Well, we have had a lovely show, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
I'm so happy you came and you showed up.
Thank you. It's
You
good to be
fire
here.
your assistant
I
for messing
will.
up and ruining your day. But thank you for coming here. It's been
sir.
great to catch up with you.
Likewise.
Zuckerman, as
See.
always, thank you for taking time off from your making money at the law firm and yelling at your minions. Congratulations on your 2 beautiful cars.
Luck.
They really are great.
Thank
BC
you.
missed that part. Quickly tell BC what you picked up over this weekend.
Oh.
On Friday, I got a 1983 911 SC Cabriolet, the first production cabriolet made after 20 years of the 911. And on Sunday, I got a 993 1996
Nice.
993 RS.
Oh,
The
that's a
first
good
is
one.
from Will Hoyt.
Oh,
John
good-
John
Will.
Will Hoyt
nice.
did it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He had restored it for a fellow found it,
Yes.
wanted the first 911 Cabriolet. He found it 9 years ago. He paid Will Hoyt to do a full restoration on it, and it held up beautifully. And the 993 RS I picked up at the 70th anniversary auction, the RM auction,
Very nice.
Speed Yellow.
Yeah, and cheers to
that's
RM
a good
for,
car.
for delivering a great car.
Right.
Look at that.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to
Credit.
be so mean to them for a little while.
For a little while. Just remember,
What?
the guy didn't show up.
Oh yeah, the guy. I don't
So-
care about that. I
Yeah, we
just
do.
auction houses sometimes. You never know. But,
Listen, it's
but,
the
but
only,
what a great
it's
car!
The only,
what a great
it's,
car!
It's the first auction car out of
Yeah.
4 that I'm happy with.
Right.
And yes, it gives hope that you can.
Well, maybe the factory had something to do with that too. That it was the
Also,
70th anniversary.
I'm going to give credit to the fact that the car was originally found by Thomas Schmitz for an American customer. You know Thomas J. Schmitz in Germany.
Yep.
He sources great cars, and Cam Ingram from Road Scholars was there at the auction. He did the bidding for me. He vetted the car. He did a PPI on the car, and he gave it a big thumbs
Cam
up.
from Road Scholars.
Right, Cam Ingram, Road Scholars. So
There you go.
those 2 guys also deserve credit for leading me in the right direction. Because on my own, I'm a menace.
And removing $400,000 from your bank account.
Well worth it.
It is well worth it. That
In this
car
case,
rocks.
well worth it.
Well, congratulations. sir.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's smashing.
And BC, congratulations to you for all your
Absolutely. We're
success.
gonna do
We look-
business.
Yeah, we look forward to everything that you're doing.
Appreciate that.
And I'm Spike Ferguson, ladies and gentlemen. Take a nap.
Good night.
Dream of me. Good night and good luck.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio. Download new episodes every Wednesday on the Podcast One app or subscribe now at Apple Podcasts or PodcastOne.com.
Do you want to be a social media star? Do you want to get verified? Do you want to make content and make money doing it? Well, I can help you get started. My name is Meredith Rojas, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Digitor. We're the largest producers of live events featuring social media stars. And I also wrote a book called Selfie Made. Selfie Made podcast is going to give you all the tips and tricks you need to take your social media career all the way. My co-host Mads Lewis and I are going to give you great information every week. So listen free to Selfie Made, exclusively available on Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne.com, and the Podcast One app. If you love the show, share it with a friend, post on Instagram, tell the world, and leave us a rating and a review.